Hello and good afternoon. My name is Jason Flame, chairman at the Moorpark Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to our weekly chamber chat. And today we have one of our members and a great guest. Let me introduce her to you. This is Larissa Nelson, who is an accomplished nonprofit professional based in Moorpark, California, with over 25 years of experience in grant writing, fundraising, and program development. She has helped secure more than $20 million in funding for organizations across Ventura and Los Angeles counties, supporting programs in housing, education, health, and youth development. Larissa recently helped launch a youth leadership and mentorship program in the Santa Clara Valley and is passionate about building sustainable impact through mission-driven work. Outside of her career, she's a dedicated community volunteer, Girl Scout troop leader, and a mom of two teenagers. Larissa also shares her love of travel and wellness through her blog, Go Love Be. Larissa, thank you for being on our chamber chat today. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here today.
Yeah, it's exciting to be able to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit more about your passion and what you do. Before we kind of jump into all the meat and potatoes of the interview, tell us just a little bit more about yourself, how you came to be here in Moorpark, and anything else we might want to get started with.
Yeah, thank you. I know it's a pleasure to be here. I've been in Ventura County for almost 25 years. I was in Fillmore, and then a few years ago, ended up moving to Moorpark for my kids' school, and then my husband, closer to my husband's work, and joined the chamber about 6 months ago. And it's been great to network and meet other Moorpark business owners and to learn more about the community and the love, and just increase my love of Moorpark and the small town and the closeness of everyone, and it's a great place to live and to raise a family and to have a business. So I've really been enjoying it.
Well, and tell me why Moorpark? I think you mentioned, because of for kids' school. Was there any other thing that kind of drew you to Moorpark?
Just a small town feel, like the small town feel, safe town, close to Los Angeles. I have clients in Los Angeles, clients in Ventura County. It's kind of almost close to the border of Los Angeles. So it's kind of a good midway point. My husband's office was in Moorpark. Now it's in Oxnard, so we were, staying nearby everything. And I'm a big outdoors person, so I love doing a lot of hiking. So we're like 15 to 20 minutes to some of the best hiking in Southern California, in the Conejo Mountains, and I just love doing a lot of that as well. So a little bit of the outdoors, the small community, the schools, the businesses, and the family. So
And hiking. Where's your favorite place to hike in the Canal Valley or in the surrounding
oh
areas?
yeah, that's a good question. So I just finished the Conejo Hike Challenge, which was a really cool challenge. If you guys aren't following the Conejo Open Space, they offer the opportunity to create, or they every year they put out new trails for you and challenge you to hike those trails. And there's a great group. I mean, it's great. You'll see like a group of like 15 people over 80 hiking these trails sometimes, and then you'll see family groups, and there's a lot of just great places to hike. I like to go the Autumn Ridge Trail and White Sage Trail. Those are some nice areas. You can do Simi Valley, Newberry Park. There's so many beautiful trails out there, but Conejo Open Space is a great one to look at to find some different trails, and they'll tell you the different difficulty and the length and everything you
Hmm.
want to do. So yeah,
Yeah, that's super cool. That's awesome. Thanks
yeah.
for sharing that with us. Now, why join the Moorpark Chamber of Commerce? Why did you want to get involved in the chamber?
Well, part of it was just to get to know the community more and to support fellow small business owners. Most people don't realize that when you own a business, the kind of the responsibilities that you have, and when you're able to talk to other people who have similar responsibilities and having that kind of camaraderie, it's something that's neat. And also to bring a little bit more of the understanding of how nonprofit and community support works within a community, about how small businesses and other businesses can help support community work as well. And so hopefully kind of bring more of an education of that to the chamber as a whole.
That's great. Well, as we
Yeah.
were talking a little bit off camera before we started, there's not a lot of people out there that do what you do, and I,
Yeah.
I had just a random experience where I had someone ask me about how to run a nonprofit or how to start a nonprofit, and
Mm.
I was so excited that I actually had someone that I could refer for that.
Yeah.
So hey, those of you that are watching live, want to encourage you or invite you to ask any questions or post your comments as we discuss some of our topics today. And so I'm just going to jump in with my first question. And first question is, you've helped secure over $20 million in funding for nonprofit programs. What's one project or story that stands out as especially meaningful to you?
Yeah, so one of the favorite programs that I've worked with is organization that basically that helps domestic violence victims. So it helps women and children escape from a bad situation and gets them started, gets them housing, gets them started on finding ways to, live their life and without being, an abusive situation. And so I've been able to raise money for several different homes to be started for those women and children to have a safe place. And the reason why that is probably one of my most um, favorite nonprofits and impactful stories is because I've worked with this agency for over 20 years. And so I've been able to see these women come in with babies on their hips and now watching their kids graduate from high school or having older kids that have been first time college graduates. And then these women, they have started businesses. They've came back and worked for the organization and worked as staff to help other women. They've been able to donate back to the nonprofit that has helped them out of that abusive situation. And so that one, just all the full circle stories within that agency, and to see, I mean, the impact of the lives change of these women and children who take that first step to make a difference in their life and then are able to stop that cycle of abuse and poverty is really pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful part of what you do, is to be able to see not only the impact of how it affects them, but how it encourages them and gets them involved, and you get to share that with them. So that's awesome. That's a great answer to the question. Thank you for that. Number two, launching a new youth leadership program is no small task, right? What inspired you to start the project, and what impact do you hope it will have on the young people involved?
Yeah, so there's something in the state of California that's Proposition 64. I think that's the right proposition. There's so many propositions. And what it is it's the cannabis tax. So they are taxing cannabis, and that funding goes to youth programs throughout California for substance use diversion, education, mentorship, and different programs. And I was working on another project and had seen that there was no support in Ventura County at all that this funding was going to. So I was like, okay, this is something that needs to change. Ventura County is my home. It's what I love. I see the impact that it could have, especially in the Santa Clara Valley and Santa Paula, Fillmore, Piru area. And so I was able to go and say, okay, how can we bring these funds to this area where we can impact the youth of our area? And so we were able to be funded by the state of California under Elevate Youth California. And the cool thing about this youth project is, well, two things. One is it's really a coalition. So it's other youth organizations throughout Fillmore and Santa Paula finding, working together to help uplift the youth, mentorship, education. A big piece of it is service, like getting them to understand how important community service is and how that can help change lives as well. And so to be able to kind of work together with different youth organizations in the area to be able to kind of bring this to Ventura County has been really a great project, and it's just in the beginning phases. So it's just the beginning phases. We're a year and a half in, but it was a lot of development pieces, and so there's going to be a lot more activities happening with the organization. Another cool piece is the civic engagement is to teach the youth that they have a voice, and so we've had some youth come and talk at city council in Fillmore and talk about how they saw graffiti in the neighborhood and how that they can help be a part of, you know, that the solution for that. And then once these kids at a younger level learn that they have a voice and how they can make a comment or they can have some feedback and actually see change happen, that's kind of the beginning of developing future civic leaders as well. So that's a really exciting piece of the program that we like. So,
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's something that I'm not sure know this about our martial arts school, but community service and teaching our youth everything that you're talking about is how they can make a difference, how they can get involved,
mm,
how their choices and their voice will make a difference. Down the line, not only for them but for the entire community. I'm listening, and you're truly. It sounds like a servant at heart. Where did this all stem from? If we go back some years before this, and then second part of the question would be, how did you really get involved in community service and getting involved in the grant writing and
that's,
finding out about
mm.
these programs? So give us a little background on that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like you said, there's not a lot of people that do like what I do in terms of like specifically working for nonprofit. So my business is a consulting business. So I do some program development. I do a lot of fundraising, and I actually started out in politics, and I wanted to because I wanted to have an impact. And then I found that that wasn't really conducive to have a family life very well as when I was starting my family. And so I started going into the nonprofit world because I saw that was where you could make a big difference as well. And then saw within the community how some nonprofits were working within the community. And so the thing with my company is, and with my consulting is, so you have really big nonprofits, like let's say you have the Red Cross, which they have like $100 million budget. But most nonprofits are these small nonprofits, maybe have like a $500,000 budget, a $50,000 budget. They can't hire someone on staff to do development, and most nonprofit workers, they work their tail off for their mission and their passion. And so the fundraising side is a harder piece because it's very specific in certain areas. And so it's harder to do for if you're running a nonprofit to just do the fundraising piece. And so what I do is I'm able to go in and do projects or do hourly projects to help them be able to fit fundraising and nonprofit development into their budget without having someone on staff. And so it's been great because I've been able to have the flexibility to kind of pick and choose the projects and clients I want. When I had younger kids, I was able to have more time to spend with them at home and not work as much, and but still be involved in the nonprofit world, and have the flexibility to do that as well as some other passions of mine. So it's been really neat to be able to give back in that way. But I do get paid. A lot of people think like, well, if you're nonprofit, does that mean you don't get paid? And it's like, no, nonprofits also get raise money, but the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is any money that a nonprofit raises or makes, whether it's through fundraising or auctions or individual donations, it has to go back into the programs. And they have to have a very specific budget. So they can't just pay their CEO whatever they want, and they can't just spend money on whatever they want. It's a very specific
Mhm.
budget. So that's a little bit about the nonprofit, because most people don't really fully understand that either.
Right.
So
And tell me again, how did you get, early on? Like what was your first
yeah,
gig? Like what was the first program you were involved in? Were your parents community leaders, or were they involved in
yeah.
community service? Where did this all come from?
So when I started working with, I've always been involved in like just volunteering with different organizations. And when I was in college, I went to Pepperdine for my degree. And in one of our classes for organizational communications, we did kind of an internship program. And in that internship program, I worked for Habitat for Humanity and American Red Cross, where we went in and we like basically consulted for them. And that was kind of my first introduction to really understanding that there's jobs and there's work that happens within these nonprofits, because as a college student, as a high school student, it's one of those industries you don't really know unless you have someone that's involved in it. And so both of my parents were in education, teachers, and a
Mhm.
counselor. But really, so in college and having that opportunity to work as an intern in these different nonprofits, that's where I had my first introduction to working with nonprofits and seeing the impact that you can have by working with nonprofits and seeing the impact that they had. I mean, from going on hands-on and helping to build homes with Habitat Humanity to helping the Red Cross raise money for a specific project to running an event to seeing all these different pieces, that was where I had the introduction to nonprofits and thought this is the type of work I want to do in my life, where I can, be a part of different service organizations and give back, but also I can do it as a career. So yeah, so for almost 25 years, that's what I've been doing.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
You talked about some other passions. You're able to do this as your career, but it also helps lend you time to follow your other
Mm.
passions. What are some of your other
Yeah.
passions?
Yeah. So, as I think you mentioned at the beginning, I've been able to be involved with some different community organizations. My daughter is a senior, so we're kind of finishing the chapter on some of those. I was a Girl Scout leader for 13 years. So working with her, but also being able to work with other girls and having this great troop. We just finished up the National Charity League, which is a mother-daughter service organization. So I've been able to be involved with that. I help in the women's leadership at church. And I also have like some little side gigs where I do like some wellness consulting because I really am passionate about wellness, and I do my travel blog and have some fun with that as well. So
So when do you sleep?
yeah, that's when people
That sounds
ask
like
me,
a
how do
lot
you
of
get it
stuff.
done? Often that's what it is. If you ask people that know me, I don't have as much sleep as most people probably. A little bit more
Well,
now that I feel like I need it now that I'm getting older, but
let's talk about grant writing. For a lot of people, this is a mysterious world to many. What's one common myth about it that you'd love to, myth bust for our listeners?
yeah, I know I touched a little bit about how like different nonprofits, most of the time their budgets don't allow for, so like why do you need to work separately than a nonprofit? So one myth is that like that it's like or more about like understanding what it is. And so because of smaller nonprofit budgets, I'm able to help these nonprofit budgets. Another one is a lot of times people think, oh, well, what is it? You're just writing all day, and that's kind of boring. Sometimes it is because it's not boring, but you have deadlines and you have word counts and you have all these specific things. So it's kind of like you're in school trying to finish a final paper. But there's so much passion behind the people that are in the nonprofits. There's so much like working with people directly. There's a lot of creativity because I can see there's a need in this community or there's a need in this program, and then can bring the program or bring the funding to that nonprofit or to that community that might not have been there otherwise because they didn't know that there was a connection. So I think that's the fun part of it and the creative part about it. Over the years, I've worked with a lot of different fun organizations, and sometimes I'll just work on like a 6-month contract, and some, like I said, I've been with for 20 years. So it's been kind of fun. So I've worked with like Magic Johnson Foundation to help start at a youth center so they could have access to technology. I've worked with, different food pantries. I've worked with theater arts programs. I've worked with so many different ones that it's been fun to see the variety of work that people do, and just watching other people work for their passion and to reach the mission of their nonprofits has been one of the joys of working in the nonprofit world.
Wow. You make it sound so much more interesting, for the
Yeah.
common person that wouldn't know what all of this entails. But I mean, you make it sound like it's fun and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I want to
Hmm.
give a quick shout out to Sean Nelson. Sean is watching, our social media guru, social media content lounge, Sean Nelson. Don't miss her next upcoming event, June 17th, I believe, at the Moorpark Chamber of Commerce office, where you can learn how to take your social media to the next level. So, guys, check that out. And again, if you are watching this live and you have any questions or you're just out there watching, let me know you're there. Love to give you a shout out and love to hear what you have to say. Um,
And not
balancing,
related to Sean, but two Nelsons on, right?
yeah, exactly, right? No, unrelated. Uh, so, we talked about this just a second ago. Balancing a busy professional life with community leadership, parenting, travel blogging. How do you prioritize and stay grounded across all these roles?
Yeah, and yeah, I did talk about it a little bit. I think it's like incorporating. One thing is not separating, like not putting things in different pockets and separating them, combining them. So having, being able to, I'm not like like putting family as part, including them in part of the community passions, like I mentioned. So some of my community service I was able to include and do with my daughter and have that. With some of my side stuff that I like doing with my travel blog and with some of that, I think it's traveling with the kids. They get to be my model, or they get to help take pictures, or they get to help, find some activities that we're going to do that I get to share about, including them in talking about what I'm doing on the nonprofit side as well. So I think it's more just trying to trying to be inclusive with all my different types or things that are happening within my life. So to find that balance for sure. So not putting them in two separate pockets. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I agree with that a lot. I love that because sometimes people do compartmentalize everything, and you got your family time, you have
Mm-hmm.
your work time, you have your own time, and there's a place for each one of those things, but by bringing everybody together, for example, for our family, like martial arts is not only our career but also our passion. We all
Yeah.
enjoy working out and training together or doing events. We just did a event for our school the other day, but
Yeah.
including our kids in what we do
Hmm.
has shown them, has helped make our passions something that may be a jumpstart to their passion, and giving them an opportunity. So I love that. That's really great. You've dedicated much of your career to helping mission-driven organizations grow. What advice would you give someone just starting out in the nonprofit work or social impact?
So I think the big thing I would say for that is to not to try to do it yourself. There's no matter what, most nonprofits are based on a mission. So they'll have a goal of one thing that they want to accomplish. But those things don't happen in a vacuum. So there's other organizations, whether it's a local business, whether it's your city, whether it's other nonprofits that are also have a shared part of that mission. So reaching out to others, and the chamber is a great place for that. Finding people through connections are a great place to do that. But finding other organizations who have the same passion or mission or similar, the same target audience. Like if you're working with youth, Youth Coalition is something that we do to get other organizations involved, because the more people that you have, the more organizations you have going towards working towards a solution for a problem, which is what most nonprofits do, the more success you're going to have. And the more you're going to be able to build on that success and be able to reach your goals. And so I think that's one of the most important ththings if you're starting out or you're trying to make a difference in a certain area is find others that have a similar passion and work together, because it'll be a lot more impactful. And if you are a business looking for the opportunity to, how can I, as a business, have more social impact? One thing I would recommend is find a nonprofit that has a mission that you are passionate about and join their board. Nonprofits are always looking for board members. A board member is someone that helps guide the programs. They help with little different aspects of the nonprofit. Each board can be a little bit different, but they support and give that community uh, involvement with businesses for nonprofits. So being on a board of a nonprofit is often one of the best things that business members can do. And I would highly recommend that for business owners to look at.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's great advice for any business. Any
Yeah.
business starting out. Look for the people who have done it before you and done it better. And I always say that even the professional athletes have a coach.
Mm,
They don't go out and succeed on their own. They succeed with the help of a coach and with a mentor. And I think that no matter what business and what area you're in, you need a mentor, you need a coach, and you need someone to help. Not only support you along the way, but also to help hold you accountable and
yeah.
help move you forward, right? And I couldn't
Mm,
agree more with the getting involved with, with a board or a service organization. I happen to be part of the Moorpark Morning Rotary Club, which is an
mm,
awesome group. There's also the Noon Rotary Club in Moorpark, Kiwanis. There's all these different service organizations to get involved with. A nonprofit that we work with, Team Wish. So yeah,
mm.
there's just a lot of ways for people to get involved. What is your suggestion on how people would go about finding out about more of these clubs or boards, or
Yeah.
where do you look for it?
Yeah, that's kind of tricky. A lot of it's word of mouth. So if you're saying like, "Hey, I want to find someone who works with the youth," like, I mean, you can as simple as Google or ask ChatGPT, like, "What's a youth organization in Moorpark?" Like, maybe you're gonna, find the YMCA and see me that they have some programs out here. So there's some different ones, and then reaching out to them and saying, how can I get involved? Do you have any space on your board? Another thing that I recommend as well is if you're going to, as a business, and I know you do really well with this with your business, is, providing opportunities that you can give back to the community. So whether it's doing like a percentage of your sales as fundraising, like it seems like it's a small thing, but for nonprofits that have small budgets, that can make a big impact. It can be opening up, if you have space, opening up, putting it out there like, hey, I have an event space. I would love to host a board meeting or host an event that you're able to do, because that helps nonprofit with their budget and then also gives the visibility for the nonprofit and creates this partnership in the community. And so there's a lot of ways that businesses can open up their doors to be able to help the community grow, with their social impact as well. And so I would recommend that as well. But yeah, for looking, word of mouth, going to the chamber and asking around, going online. Most of them will have a website or a Facebook page, and just seeing if there's something that you're passionate about. I know there's a lot of great like youth programs, animal, just a few that are in the community. There's food programs, so a little bit of everything. But there's always people. There's always service opportunities. There's always a high need for those, and there's definitely ways. And reach out to me, send me a message, and I can connect you with someone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key word in all of that was, I heard partnership. and businesses have such an amazing opportunity to create partnerships, even with our schools and their PTAs.
Oops, I
And
can't hear you, Jason.
uh-oh,
Can you hear me
how about
still?
now? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Not yet? I think the audience can still hear me, but you can't hear me. How about now?
I had a phone call coming in, so I think it disconnected my audio.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now? No. Check your settings real quick. But what Larissa was saying was partnerships. Just I think that businesses have an amazing opportunity to partner with the nonprofits, the different youth organizations in our area. Did it come back for you?
Yeah, it came back to me.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. And my wife said that you guys can hear me too. All right,
Okay.
awesome. Okay, we're back on track. Sorry, guys, sidetracked there. But yeah, the whole partnership, I think it's great. We have a lot of. I mean, I try to name them all just to give them a little plug, but you've got the Joel Birchfield Memorial Fund. He's got his run coming up. Great organization to get involved with. Rudy Perez Jr. Memorial Fund, another great organization that gives out youth scholarships. There's ways to get involved without having to create your own, and just partnering with other ones. Because again, we can do more together. I mean, any nonprofit is going to benefit from a business that might sponsor or donate or put in resources without having to go through the work of doing the nonprofit themselves. But again,
Yeah.
if you're wanting to create your own nonprofit, this is the person to talk to. So definitely, Larissa, where can people find you, and how do people connect with you?
Yeah, so you can either reach out. I'm on Instagram at GoLoveB, and you can send me a message. You can DM me there. You can send me a message on my Facebook page as well, which I think will be on here on the chamber chat. Yeah.
Okay, great. And is there anything we did not talk about today that you want to just throw out there to the audience? And before you answer that question, for those of you that are still watching live, this will be your last chance to send us a question or send us a comment. Would love to hear anything that you may want to know. So please just post those comments. So Larissa, anything that we have not covered that you want to let the audience know today?
I think just if you are interested in, making a difference in your community for a specific purpose, like we had talked about, see if somebody's doing that already and see how you can help them. Because there's so many opportunities and there's so many needs in our communities, as well as just, Ventura County as a whole. And there's a lot of good things happening that you might not know are happening. And so it's kind of neat to find out about what's happening behind the scenes that you might be able to have more of an impact individually or as a part of your business as well. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do something in the future with some of the, I know we talked briefly about it a little bit about doing some sort of something with the Moorpark businesses to kind of take it to the next level, to talk about more specifically how you as a business can be involved with community nonprofits and how you can be more impactful in the things that you do so you can give back to the community in a very helpful way. So that's something that I'm passionate about as well. And hopefully we'll be able to see more of that in Moorpark as well, which is already happening.
Yeah, I love it. And also, I just want to add a little bit to that is that if you're a business owner or you're a community member and you're watching this, there is nothing too small to get involved, right? I mean, there's always
Definitely.
little things that you can do because I think sometimes people fear, especially busy business owners, fear
Hmm.
that, okay, if I get on a board or if I go get involved, it's going to take up so much of my time. And trust me, it can if you allow it, if you let it to. But even sometimes just the smallest of contributions, whether it's time,
Mm.
financial experience, just those little things make a big difference too. So don't be afraid to help out even as little as you can. So again, Larissa, thank you so much
Definitely.
for being on the show today, and thank you everybody who is watching this. I want to ask everybody, please go to YouTube and subscribe to Moorpark Chamber of Commerce. We've got a brand new YouTube channel that we're trying to launch these videos live, but we do need 50 subscribers. We're currently at 40, so help us out, right? get us going in that way, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and connect with us at our networking mixers and networking breakfast. You can find all that information on our website, moorparkchamber.com. You see it scrolling on the bottom, some of those links. And the phone number, 805-529-0322. If anybody wants to join as a member, our chamber is growing, and with people like Larissa, lots of great things happening. So we would love to have you. So Larissa, thank you so much again, and wishing you all the best. I'll see you at the next event.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you for all the good that you do in the community, because you are a great example of a business owner that gives back, and that is not gone unnoticed. So thank you, and thank you for having me on.
All right. We really appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you guys on the next time for Moorpark Chamber of Commerce, our chamber chat. Take care, guys.
Bye.